Is my blood lilac? Well, you may very well find out tonight because we've got the man that's going to tell us why not only is my blood and your blood could be lilac, but why he is going to claim some gold once again from his dear old dad, even though the last couple of times he's come up short. Though at CCW Fighter Strike 3, it looked like he was going to be your new CCW World Underground Champion. But to start, he's going to tell us why this weekend at Alba Championship Wrestling, he's going to take those CCW Tag Team Championships away from dear old dad. And then he's going to tell us next weekend why he's going to get another big old victory over dear old dad against him alongside his new friend or former friend, but still the man that made the save that everybody's talking about, Persona. Forget about all that you've just heard. Forget about everything that's gone on in CCW of late. We're going to find out why. We're going to be elite tonight. We are, as I stated, going to find out why here our blood and your blood might be lilac. Our guest tonight needs no further introduction, but because so many other people in CCW have gotten that introduction, it is time to give him, for the first of many times here on Sportswire Radio, I have no doubt that he is going to get that introduction, as I stated, everybody else has gotten. So let's get right to it on a Thursday night. So with that, one more for the road. Wait for it. Further ado here on the Sports Report. Number one. Global Sports Show from CCW. His name is My friend, I hope that was an elite enough like intro for you.
That was an amazing intro, Tom. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'll let you know how my voice is doing in about 30 or 40 minutes from now, but certainly it's an absolute honor to have you here because there is a lot to talk about in a short amount of time. I know you're out there, you're on the road, you're getting ready this time to even the odds against dear old dad, take something from him, maybe do something else to him next weekend. But let's get right to it here. For those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters, and obviously we know CCW and Alba Championship Wrestling, where all wrestling matters, tell us what you're going to attempt to do this Saturday in Hamilton, Scotland, to reclaim those tag team championships from your dad and also alongside your very good friend who made the huge save that everybody's talking about at Fighter Strike 3 Persona. So tell us what can we expect and why you're going to reclaim those tag team championships.
Well, I'm assuming, as you know, me and Persona were the longest reigning tag champions.
I sure do. Yep, I sure do.
As you know, Persona, he went to hell, but he's came back. But he looks very different now, doesn't he?
Much different. No, much. When he came out, he looked a heck of a lot different. So yeah, not what it was 7 months ago, for sure. You know, absolutely. Even listen, even at the Colory Christmas Carol and you know, obviously Mercy's Mighty Fight, he looks totally different.
Someone sees more daring now.
Oh, he does. Yes, I would certainly agree with that for sure. I mean, so tell us further. Obviously, as I interrupted you there with you know, a nice memento you gave me. Thank you, by the way.
Well, when you've got a demon and an angel together, what's going to stop us? That's what I want to know.
I don't know if the Paragons of the Apocalypse could do that. No, I don't think that they may have a tough time this time for sure. Yeah, I think that especially with Mr. Black. He's got a lot on his mind next weekend. But, how does it feel to be back with Persona? And a Persona now, you made a great point because Persona then and Persona now, Persona to me is just upgraded so much more. The experience that he's gotten, going out there and the way he wrestled Davey Blaze. First of all, Davey Blaze is one of the most well-known people in Europe in terms of wrestling. He is wrestling who's who of people, and Persona was right there with him. And then Persona, for what he did in helping you, and just, I think, everything that he's done to evolve in ring and outside the ring. This is, to me, what you guys did last year could pale into comparison to what we could see Saturday night there in the Greenfield Social Club in Hamilton, Scotland.
That's exactly what you're going to get. Me and Persona, we're going to be the best we can be, get our tag titles back, and I'm finally going to get one back up on Dagon.
And you got to have a lot of motivation because, as we know, 2 of the last 4 weekends, unfortunately, you came up short in claiming that World Underground Championship from your dad, Mr. Dagan, and especially going back in CCW Fighter Strike 3, where it looked like you were about to be the World Underground Champion, and you had the championship in your hands. You had everything there, and it looked like we were going to see you here with us with the World Underground title, but then, oddly enough, another referee, quote unquote, came in and it was almost over and quicker than a New York minute. How much have you thought about the fact that you physically had that World Underground Championship? And how much have you thought about the redemption that you want? Because to many, many fans in CCW, you were robbed and you were cheated. And how much motivation do you have to use that for this coming Saturday night?
Well, I thought I won, Tom. I was too busy celebrating.
We all watched it. The tape seemed like when the ref counted, and it was 1, 2, 3, and then all of a sudden you get the championship, you're holding it, you're about to look at it, then all of a sudden you had what we saw in Alfie Nerds. I still want to know, what was Alfie Nerds doing out there of all people? That's certainly a whole discussion, I'm sure, for another time. But, I would imagine that your life flashed before your eyes in the fact that, you were the world champion of the biggest promotion, frankly, in this country, in my opinion, at least. What do I know? But the facts are CCW is the place to be. This is where the big boys play. You were the world champion. In some ways, you're the uncrowned world champion to many.
The last thing I can remember about that night is being on my knees and hugging that championship. Everything else is just a blur. But watching back at the footage, Dagon capitalised on me, on my knees.
You recorded that moment. Yeah, you recorded that moment. Almost was like, okay, what do I do now? And do you think that's inexperience there, where obviously your dad, the champion, he's obviously been in this game. He knows how to basically figure out a way in that moment. Do you think that that's what it was, almost, that you had the inexperience there, and that's kind of where you came up short?
I felt as if it was all down to Nerds being on the outside. That's what I felt.
Well, that's the question. A lot of people are wondering, why was he there? What purpose did Alfie Nerds have in coming out and trying to, distract you, but then ultimately becoming a referee and counting for your dad, Mr. Dagan, to continue his run as the World Underground Champion? That's still, to me, an open-ended question. We may never find out, especially with what's going on with Alfie Nerds right now.
Well, my assumption is Nerds must have had some sort of deal with Dagon. And I don't know if you've seen when Dagon helped Nerds get the OK 24/7 championship back.
Yes, I did.
I think there was some sort of deal going on between them two to make sure.
We'll never know formally why that occurred. Yeah. We'll never know formally. Is that for you, a lot of a what if? How much have you thought about the what if in that scenario?
If he wasn't there, I would have been having that gold over my shoulder. I'd have been the youngest champion, probably in the Northeast.
I would dare say you might have been one of the youngest champions in the history of our sport. In the sport that brings us together, right? Here I am, right, in New York. Here you are in the UK, getting ready to go to Scotland. That's what would have bounded us, is this sport. And you would have been arguably one of the youngest champions ever in history. In history. I mean, it was basically there. You had it, and then you look up. You're looking up at the lights, and it's 1, 2, 3, and that's it.
So close, but yet so far. One day I'd love to get that championship.
Well, you very well might. You very well might. But I know, in the interest of time, I have a lot of people that want to say hello to you, so I'm going to certainly come to them. I want to say hello to my buddy Skulls the Soul Hunter out there in the state of California here in the United States. And Skulls is out here at 12:10 p.m. Skulls, I'd like to know, what are you doing at 12:10 on Sportswire? But I'm certainly very happy that you're here. And I want you to hit that sub button to CCW, because if you're on YouTube and you haven't been following CCW, CCW is where all wrestling matters. They have been one of my longest supporters for over 2+ years. You want to go out there and hit that sub button right now. If you're on YouTube right now, I'm going to put that link here. It's right in the description below. All you have to do is go on YouTube, caps locks, CCW, UKNE. All you have to do is CCW UK Northeast YouTube. Hit that sub button. It's right there for us. CCW UK Northeast. Hit that sub button. CCW is the place to be. It's where all wrestling matters. They have a huge show coming up next weekend. And Alba Championship Wrestling, hit their YouTube button. Alba Championship Wrestling, also on Facebook as well. I'm going to come back to Mr. McGregor. How you doing there, sir? It was good to be with you on last night's stream about, obviously, Mr. Carnage, and certainly Sean Duffy is always in our thoughts and prayers. I think you know this person. I won't say anything further. That was funny. How you doing, Rico Justice? We're going to see Rico next week, and obviously in the 10-person battle royal to win that trophy for Mr. Carnage. How you doing there, Brian? Brian's been one of our recent supporters. Love that. A-Dog, by the way, A-Dog, thank you very much for the kind words you gave me and your picture you gave me yesterday. So I definitely know, A-Dog, I forgot to get in touch with you yesterday, but I'm going to get in touch with you in a little while, because I do want to get you on Sportswire. How you doing? I think I know it's DJB. DJB, how's it going? Want to say hello to my very good buddies out there in North Carolina, getting ready for their show this Sunday versus the World Wrestling. Have close to 5,000 subscribers. So VTW, you are the place to be here in the Northeast Mid-Atlantic, but hit that sub button for our buddies in the UK CCW, because they have over 5,000 members on their Facebook group. And I know many of your talent in BTW know CCW, like Chase Wakefield, Brandon Costelli. So let's support those that are doing it for the right reasons. BTW and CCW are a part of that. Thank you guys for everything you do for both companies. And that's the man. By the way, what do you want to say to Ref Lee? Obviously, you know, anything you want to say to him in particular?
Nothing really, but good evening anyways.
Okay, so obviously nothing that you felt he could have did differently. It was just, he's in that moment.
It wasn't his fault. He was just doing his job.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. Spawn might need to use a cheat code to get back on the winning side. Well, I've heard that thrown around in certain groups in CCW, but you're going to have to stay on track, that's for sure. Want to say hello to the lovely Jules NYC. How you doing there, beautiful? I'm glad that you tuned in. Thank you so much for your support, and I hope you're enjoying our show tonight. Also here, want to say hello to Mr. Jam Dog. You're going to see Jam Dog for sure. And by the way, do you if I ask you real quick, do you have a thought on Jam Dog? Obviously, we kind of know where his plans are. He's going to be back here next week for us on Sportswire. Anything you want to say to our Carnage Hardcore champion, and maybe his sights that he might have set? Anything you might want to say to him?
Well, I hope he retains that championship at the end of the month. I hope he can do that. I'm a big fan of Jam Dog, especially them clubs.
What do you think, though, about that story that he's never been a world champion? 20 years in this sport, and he's never been a champion. I'm sure that, Mr. Dagan and him have a lot of history. You've seen that firsthand, and, you have any thoughts and any inclinations, I suppose?
I think if I can't be the one to stop Dagon, which I believe I will do, I think Jam has a very good chance at defeating the Demon.
Do you think that you would love to certainly have that ability to test your might against Jam Dog should that situation arise? I mean, I know
I
we thought
would
that could
love
have
it.
been. And I know
love that.
we were all thinking that was going to be the case. Obviously he wants the World Underground title. You should have had the World Underground title. I mean, obviously, to be continued. I want to say hello to Mr. OK. Mr. OK, how are you doing? And I promise you, Mr. OK, I'm going to get you onto Sportswire. I promise you that I'm going to do that. I know we're definitely working on it. We're definitely working on it. Taylor Trutz is here. How you doing, Taylor? And Jules, all the way out there in the city of New York, says, "Is your blood lilac?"
Yes. The reason behind this is I am the Lilac Demon.
Yes.
I am the Lilac Demon. And Lilac, it's not just me. Lilac's everyone. Lilac is more of a message. Lilac is you do it for the right reasons. Never do it for hatred, but you do it for stuff that you know is right.
And that's where you certainly differentiate yourself from your dad, the champion. Let me ask you on Mr. McGregor, what advice has Mr. McGregor given to you in persona going into this Saturday and then also next weekend?
He's advised us to stay calm, get a game plan, and he's almost sure we'll beat them. I believe he'll be there. I believe he'll be watching. I believe he'll be cheering. And there is going to be plenty of drop kicks just for Mr. McGregor.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're one of the up-and-coming wrestlers in this sport. And like I said, persona, he certainly speaks for himself. And how much have you guys spoken about the fact that you guys were the longest-running CCW Tag Team Champions in history, and that gives you confidence going into this weekend to take now something else, not only from Mr. Dagan, but also Mr. Black, who's also had a lot on his mind because he's trying to reclaim the Light and the Dark Championship. And I'm going to talk with Dustin Hart as well coming up Wednesday night. But how much have you guys thought about being the longest running tag team champions? You'd like to reclaim those titles and take something else from your dad and also from Mr. Black?
We know now that since we're together, we're going to be stronger than ever. And we want to beat that record of longest reigning tag team champions. And I believe we can do that.
Well, it's going to start here coming up at the Greenfield Social Club in Hamilton, Scotland. We'll have to find out. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of all wrestling, where all wrestling matters here on Sportswire Radio. We're here, kind of an abbreviated show tonight here with Spawn. We'll hang out for about 20 or so, 25 more minutes here with him. But if you're on YouTube for the first time and you haven't got a chance to hit that sub button for us, I would really appreciate if you do so, because we have well over 500 subscribers. And if you're here with us, hit that sub button for our dear friends over at CCW, because CCW is where all wrestling matters. CCW UK Northeast. You can also check us out here tomorrow. I'll be here at 2:30 p.m. my time, 7:30 p.m. your time with Chris Levitt. It'll be almost like the three faces of Chris Levitt, Jay Carnage, Necro Daddy. He'll be here with us. Who knows what else will be on his mind. If you saw what he said last time, just wait until what he says tomorrow night. I'll also have more coverage here with Sugar Ray Taylor Monday night. He's going to talk about his match with Jam Dog. He's going to talk about his history with Mr. Carnage, Sean Duffy. And we're going to do that here, 8 o'clock British Standard Time, this coming Monday. A real treat. Sugar Ray Taylor is going to be here right before his match with Jam Dog. We're going to get Jam Dog the next night, and Jam Dog is going to take his place in the Sportswire Radio's Hall of Fame. So a very, very busy week of shows ahead in CTW. Also, we got the whole week. You're going to get inducted one day. You're going to get inducted maybe this weekend. I don't know. But we've got Sugar Ray Taylor Monday. We've got Jam on Tuesday. Dustin's back Wednesday. Dustin hasn't been back here in months. And Friday, we're going to induct Mr. Carnage into the Hall of Fame. And anybody from the locker room is invited. I will make sure DJB has that link earlier in the day. So that way people, if they want to pop on, share their memories, share their thoughts, they're welcome to do that. But we are here with Spawn himself, the Lilac Demon. And I have a lot of people here that like to say some things. Of course, our dear buddy himself, Mr. Tribal Cheese. And of course, Mr. Tribal Cheese gave us this very nice letter. And we certainly acknowledge the Tribal Cheese. He is our head of the table. And we certainly appreciate his very, very nice gift he gave of everybody like yourself in the locker room. So thank you very much for signing that picture. Because now every time I see you on the air, I can even go like this. And now everybody else on the roster, I can hold up their photo. So that's certainly going to be nice. And I appreciate that. But, you know, Mr. Taylor Trutz has this to say. Do you agree with that? That Mr. McGregor will be the downfall of you guys? What do you say to that?
I think he's going to make us something. I think he's going to make us better than we'll ever be. And I know he'll push us to the limits. He'll make us the greatest. I believe he will be the best manager in CCW ever.
That's big words to say because there's been some great managers. Taylor's been a great manager as well. And, you know, some would even say Lilith is the best manager right now because of the paragons of the apocalypse. That I could see your eyes turning there a little bit, but Lilith's the one that has maybe the biggest control of all the managers, and I could see how you felt there just now.
I think Lilith has a downfall, and that's her attitude. It stinks. Have you seen the way she goes on?
I have, but she's the one that's obviously around those who have the success, those who have the gold, and certainly Adrian Black's going to attempt to reclaim his Light in the Dark championship and show that Dustin Hart's win was really a fluke. I mean, so right now, she's the one in control of the gold.
Well, I hope Lilith one day sees the light and joins me and does everything for the right reasons. Because it's not nice going against your sister. It's not nice going against your father. It's not nice going against your uncle. But
what do you say, though, when Taylor says this? I've yet to manage, simply advise, and give counsel, but his track record of holding things together aren't good.
Like what? What is he not held together? I mean, the Elite, they're together. The Lilac Legion, we're back together. What is he not held together?
I think his general point is that the track record of the Elite in terms of winning championships versus other factions, other current, let's say, managers such as Lilith, you know, even if you want to throw out there anybody else, you can, past or present, but the track record of the Elite versus other factions in CCW is certainly less desired.
The Lilac Legion isn't the Elite.
Okay.
That's the difference.
Okay, but Mr. McGregor is the face of the Elite.
Yes, he is. But we're nothing like the Elite. We're just simply better.
Well, you're certainly stronger, you're younger, you're faster, you're better looking. Sure, I mean, I would certainly point out some of those things. I want to say hello to the voice of the coloring, and that is good evening, Tom, and good evening, Spawn. So, you know, the first chance I get a chance to speak with you, what is your impressions of the voice of the coloring?
The voice of the coloring. I want to know why he's being so mysterious about who he is. That's what I want to know.
Is it a trust issue you have? Do you have a trust issue or a concern there with that?
Yeah. Like, is he an old face from CCW that hasn't been around for a while? Like,
could it be a new face? What about if it's a new face?
But why is he being so mysterious? Has he got a secret? Or is he just really ugly? That could always be a possibility.
Or maybe any good story shouldn't be spoiled. I've seen some bad movies lately, so I was trying to think of something off the fly, but I guess we'll find out. I mean, obviously, time will certainly, eventually, we would think, reveal the voice of the coloring.
Hopefully.
Okay, let me get to a few more things from Taylor. How can one person manage two squads who are aiming for the same goal sitting on a fence, McGregor will get splinters. Obviously, he's talking about the Thatcher brothers. He's talking
Yes.
about the Thatcher brothers and yourself. I mean, does that concern you at all? That let's say you win the belts, and then the Thatcher brothers have talked about the fact they want the tag team championships. Ronnie has been here multiple times of late. They want those tag team championships. Maybe in a way Taylor's not wrong. And let's say you guys win this weekend. Let's say you guys win at the Greenfield Social Club in Hamilton.
When we win.
Well, we'll have to find out. That's why people need to go to Alba Championship Wrestling and go subscribe and go. It's a great card, by the way. I mean, Jordan Oliver is on the card. UNG Mackey, Craig Forsyth. I mean, it's a phenomenal card. Jam Dog's going to be in action. We've got Ronnie's going to be there. So a lot of our friends are going to be there. But the facts is that, you've got the Thatcher brothers who want gold. Mr. McGregor's had a longer relationship with them than you. I mean, you can't say the fact that could you guys be holding those titles, and then Mr. McGregor could double cross you guys. That's what his point is, more or less.
McGregor would never do that. He would never leave our side. He's looked after us from day one.
Okay.
But when we do get our tag titles back, we'll happily face the Thatcher brothers. Happily.
And Ronnie has commented that he can't comment on YouTube for some reason, but said he's watching the show, and he also wanted to tell you that he's watching your match very closely this coming weekend, and he's certainly going to obviously keep a very, very close eye on you. Let me ask you a question, and I realize you're out. You're obviously getting ready for the matches this week, and you're obviously preparing. You and Persona are going to have a big conference call. You guys are going to be out there in the ring training very shortly. But let me ask you this question. How big are these next 2 weekends for you in your future upcoming?
Well, I mean, a tag title match is a great deal, especially with Persona back as the whole new look, as an angel, with his blood also lilac. I mean, we're going to win them titles back. We're going to make a statement. And if the Thatcher brothers want to go, we'll have a go. And the week after that, Dagon's finally going to get what he deserves. His ego has got in the way. A 2 versus 1. That's what he wanted, and that's what he's going to get. But something tells me he might not make it out that ring. Well, he might not make it out walking.
Well, you guys are obviously going to have, and I'll get to a few more comments. You guys are obviously going to have that test this coming weekend as a preview. But let me ask you in a different way in saying that, okay, you guys are going to have this match, but then next weekend it's 2-on-1. You have to think, though, there's got to be something up Dagon's sleeve, no?
He'll have something that he's keeping on the down low. Like maybe Adrian might get involved, Lilith might, Nerds might again. But I think with 2 of us there, we'll be able to capitalise on anything.
Let me ask you, going into that match next week, I know we obviously have a lot on the line here with these tag team championships, but is there any way you're looking past this match and sorely, and I say it very loosely, sorely looking to get even on Dagon in that handicap match, that you've focused more on that match first, what we're going to see at the Greenfield Social Club in Hamilton this weekend? Just what's your thoughts on that?
I think this weekend it's going to be a challenge. But once we win them tag titles at the end of the month, it's like our reward. We get to do it for the fans, and we get to bring Dagon.
What did the fans mean? What did the fans mean to you in that reaction that they gave when Persona came out? And we thought at first it was going to be he was aligning with Dagon, but instead he aligned back with you. What did that reaction mean to you? And that was some crowd we saw at Fighter Strike 3. The CCW fans are like no other fans. What did that mean to you when that reaction where you guys all left together, yourself, Persona, and McGregor?
It felt like we were all as one again. I felt like we're all a big family again. Most importantly, it felt like we were all lilac.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? I have a lot of comments here in a short amount of time. Let me get to them. McGregor is sitting on a fence. He will get splinters. We'll find out. The Thatchers of the future. I'll be watching how they get treated by the elite. Good questions. Good points. The truth hurts. McGregor is calling me, no doubt, to have a go. A Dog says the Super Bros are made for movie posters. Interesting, interesting. The Lilac Legion have been given preferential treatment and jumped the tag team queue. You agree with that?
Well, this is our rematch since we never had that. So I don't think we have jumped the queue. I think we just waited for the perfect moment. And now
And
I
if
think
you
it's greater than ever.
I agree. That's why I think before we get to real quick thoughts, before we sign off, I know you're obviously out and about, but I think ultimately what it's going to come down to is that this is a big next 2 weekends for you because, you win these tag team belts. Yeah, you do shut up the naysayers. Yeah, you do shut up those that make a legitimate point that, you know what? You're here and you haven't had a tag team match in ages. And now you and Persona are back, and all of a sudden you guys are getting the tag team championship shot, and then maybe you win the titles. Okay, fine. It's proven. But there's a lot of teams right now in CCW. Our tag team division is stacked. There's a lot of other people that would love to get a crack at those belts, and you certainly have to prove a lot. And I think that this is going to be kind of a make or break next 2 weekends for you because you obviously were forced to submit last weekend. You've got this weekend coming up with Tag Team Gold. We saw what happened. We saw the footage of Fighter Strike 3. So this is kind of like, really like for you, this could go a long way in showing, yes, you are the future. Yes, you've done it for the right reasons. The decision you made in going with the fans, going and doing it for the right reasons is going to be showed to prove that you did it and you made the correct decision. But if this works out where you guys don't win this weekend, in Hamilton, and then for whatever reason you lose a 2-on-1 match that you have the odds and stacked in your favor, there's going to be a lot of finger pointing for sure. So let me get to more comments here. The Lilac, look, we got to that. Spawn is the future of the business. That's a fact. Yes, I definitely agree that you may not have gotten a world title a few weeks ago, but I have no doubt that you're going to be a world champion very, very soon. I have no doubt about that. I do not want it to be seen that I'm a Lilac Legion hater. I'm simply speaking facts. Jules also wants to remind me via comment that direct message that she is a big fan of the lilac flower. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I wish them the best. However, it's the alignment with McGregor that's the issue. Listen, I've been covering CCW a while, and that's, a point that people may mean. I guess I want the best for a lot of the roster, Thatchers for gold. Well, listen, Ronnie said he wants to do it with his brother, and, we're going to find out. I mean, if you guys win the titles, the Thatchers are coming for you. And that's simply, you're going to have to deal with them. So no longer it's going to be about Black and Dagan. Let me ask you one more question before I get to few thoughts this weekend and then closing thoughts. Do you think in a way maybe you guys have an advantage this weekend upcoming because Adrian Black is also going to be really focused on trying to reclaim his Light in the Dark championship? Do you want to talk about that for a second?
I think Adrian will be focusing more on winning that title back. I've now got more of a drive than ever to beat Dagon. Persona's back. He's got more of a drive than ever to inflict pain on both of them for what they did to him. So I think we've got the greater odds against them. But I've got a question for Taylor as he keeps going off in the comments.
Yep, he is. Yep. What would you like to say to him? I'll tell him right now.
Are you threatened by Cullen? Is that why you keep talking about him for? Are you scared of him? Is that a problem? Are you threatened that he's just a better manager? Is that a problem? And you see the Thatchers are the future? I mean, you're looking at the future right here. I've got years. They don't.
Okay, I mean, and I would follow up saying that Ronnie was the first World Underground champion. Ronnie was the hardcore champion multiple times. Ronnie has been here, and if there's anybody that has had the success in this company's history, it's Ronnie. And now with his brother, I mean, look at what they did. They made short work of Devlin and Hybrid when they were in the ring with them. I mean, you look at what they've done in action coming up here. I mean, they're certainly, yes, they may not be in terms of compared to you guys, the fresh faces, but when it comes to the success and the only team that pound for pound might be able to squarely, square off with Dagan and Black and not be afraid of them and be more than happy to mix it up and have a fight and maybe even come out, and they might be pound for pound tougher than both Black and Dagan. You might look at it from those aspects. Maybe that's where he's coming from with it.
Yes, Ronnie is very hard hitting. I know he is. He's carnage.
Oh, I've seen it firsthand. Yes, I've seen it firsthand on the platform. I've had Ronnie on many times. Ronnie, he goes out there and he just kicks butt. He doesn't really do anything else but that. So that's, what that here. Mr. Trutz would like to say that I have never officially managed. However, I know for a fact you could manage to success. Then he also says, I'm not threatened by him. I've seen how he operates for a lot longer than you have been lacing them up them boots. No, that's all. Listen, it's a valid point. The Super Thatcher brothers are the real deal. I had them on here together. I mean, so I can tell you firsthand that, but I do before I get to something else, because people really want to talk to you. I know you're obviously out there, but what do you want to say to a man that cost you your chance with immortality and Alfie Nerds?
Well, Nerds, I'm going to get my hands on you again. I remember what happened last time when you tapped. This time I won't leave go. And you deserve that. You deserve all the pain you will suffer for what you did to me. I had everything in my hands, and you took that all away. I'll never forget that.
It was fair to say that one day you're going to cross paths with him, and you're going to certainly even the odds and make him remember that he should have never crossed you then, pretty much, correct?
100%.
Well, you know what? His days certainly are rather crossed himself, because he lost that 24/7 championship to some guy that I'm wearing a shirt for right now, the Tribal Cheese himself. So, obviously Alfie Nerds has got a lot of problems. He's got Barris, this weird situation with him and Barris. He came up short time after time against Jam Dog, and even that 24/7 championship he reclaimed, it's no more. So, okay. Should the inevitable happen, would you allow a real manager to step forward to guide you to greatness? You've pretty much answered that. And also, yes, acknowledge this shirt. Yep, absolutely. And also acknowledge the Lilac Legion, by the way, because they gave me this, and acknowledge Persona. Hey, Persona, hope you're doing well out there. I know it's the old Persona photo, but still thank you. And also, this one. I won't show your dad, Mr. Dagan's photo, but I did want to show your photo at least. Okay. So obviously, in the interest of time, what do you want to say to Adrian Black and your dad before this coming Saturday, Alba Championship Wrestling, Greenfield Social Club, Hamilton, Scotland, for those CCW championships, which you held, along with Persona, as the longest running champions in the company's history?
Well, I hope you're on your A game, because you're facing the best tag team in the Northeast, me and Persona. And you're not just facing two boys, you're facing a demon and an angel. And that's all I've got to say to them.
Well, you know what? If you aren't following Alba Championship Wrestling at this point on their Facebook page, also on YouTube, you clearly need to do so, because I am so excited about that card at Alba Championship Wrestling, and who's who of stars are going to be there. Also, I am very much excited about next weekend, sold out CCW Carnage 3, CC Dub. You can also check them out on Facebook at Cutlery Championship Wrestling, Carnage Championship Wrestling, Coming Out Championship Wrestling. Taylor's doing a great job there. Also, YouTube CCW UK Northeast. So support those that support us, support those that continue to make sure it's about all wrestling that matters. And before I get to closing thoughts here, should the Lilac Legion win? I hope they do, but just watch for Humpty Dumpty taking the credit that's set on the fence. Well, he's talking about Mr. McGregor, but I'm going to obviously let that continue to be a stay tuned. But I know you got to run out there. We'll see if you be a champ once again. I want to give you the floor. Now, I want to give you some closing thoughts. And I do agree that you definitely are the future of this sport. I have no doubt the next time you'll be on here, you'll have a championship of some sort. I don't know when. I don't know where you'll be back again on Sportswire, but I'm really looking forward to that. And this was a lot of fun. And I still don't know quite if my blood is lilac. I might have some lilac blood in me, but I did learn that a lot of people have lilac blood in them. And it's certainly going to be you, Persona, and it very well may be those CCW Tag Team Championships once again that have lilac blood in them. So, floor is yours, my friend.
Well, I've got 4 words. I think you know what the 4 words are. My blood is lilac.
I was kind of waiting for that. That's why, I did say it in my video to introduce you because, obviously somebody was like, well, you should do a video to introduce you. I was like, yeah, of course. You got to let me just do it. But yeah, you can follow, obviously, this individual on the CCW page, Facebook, Cutlery Championship Wrestling, all the CCW links. And one more comment because, well, he is, quote unquote, well, he was the boss. He's obviously obviously the board of directors certainly had took him out. James Barris here. You've probably heard the name Bobblehead Barris. Yep. He says, you know something? I love the heart that Spawn shows, but hearts will eventually stop beating. So James Barris gets the last word tonight. And he says that it may not be this weekend, may not even be next weekend, but he's saying at some point, your heart will stop beating. And if the Paragons of the Apocalypse have their way, they could do it certainly by this weekend. But we'll have to stay tuned and find out because we could see, will the longest running tag team champions in CCW history, will they reclaim the gold on their first shot? Stay tuned. Will Persona and Spawn be able to finally get the job done on Dagon in a 2-on-1 handicap match? I don't know. But you're going to find out all those questions for sure coming up here this Saturday. First stop at the Greenfield Social Club in Hamilton, Scotland. Then back in Seaham. Next weekend, sold out CCW Carnage 3. I agree with Taylor. Good night. My friend, thank you so much. This was an honor to have you on. I thank you for the nice photo one more time. I definitely thank you for the picture. And maybe I do have lilac blood in me. I know you've got full blood in it. But you know what? We all have a little bit of it tonight because that's, I think, what I learned. But thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the ring. You've done a phenomenal job so far, and I think the sky is only the limit, and I look forward to talking with you very soon, and good luck out there.
Thank you. Hopefully I'll see you again soon, Tom.
Oh, you'll see me again. You have no doubt about that. We've been covering TTW for a long time. You know that. But my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of all wrestling, where all wrestling matters. We were just here with Spawn, who is right before about to get a huge shot here. We're about 48 hours or so away from his shot to reclaim those CCW Tag Team Championships against his dad, the Paragons of the Apocalypse, alongside Adrian Black. He'll be back with Persona once again. He'll be back the following weekend for CCW Carnage 3 against his dad once again, this time alongside Persona in a handicap match. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of all wrestling, where all wrestling matters. If you're on sportswireradio.org, you're going back to your regularly scheduled programming. If you're on Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter, thank you so much for tuning in. Also, hit that sub button for us here on Sportswire Radio 6579. I'll be back on the air here coming up tonight, New York time, 10 p.m. Eastern time, Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. with the West Memphis Kid, Ronnie Brady. Ronnie Brady is going to be in action coming up here for Resurrection Wrestling's latest show, Lockdown. He's going to have an open challenge. He's going to talk about that here, plus who knows what else is on his mind. You can check out Resurrection Wrestling on YouTube and TikTok at Resurrection Wrestling. The show will be live there on Resurrection Wrestling, Instagram, Resurrection Pro Wrestling as well. So Ronnie Brady, looking forward to speaking with you for the first time here. But until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one global radio station that is Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters. And yes, good night, everybody. I'll see everybody tomorrow with Chris Levitt.